This is the last task that I have to make a tic-tac-toe game app, and this program actually use user input and two players text terms, making the available cell 3 by 3 grid. And there is also from a two player, that is enter one X token and O token alternately. Whenever the token is entered with the board on the console, and determine the status of the game, win, draw, or continue. And this program requires variable, data type, and numerical operators, basic input by output, logic if statement, switch statement, also loop, for, while, and do loop arrays. And there is a condition that I have to use dynamic arrays to implement the array. And obviously this program actually need the dynamic array because due to 3 by 3 grid, I have to use the dynamic array. The first portion, I just declared a variable void, declared a function that is void initialize board, that is character board, integer size, two variables. Actually it initialized the board with empty spaces, and there is for loop that actually has two variable, integer I and integer j for the dynamic array, and a blank space represent an empty cell. And after that I have also create another void function, that is display board, display the current state of the board. And for this I have to use same as previous. For creating dynamic array, I have to use two variables, that is I and j. And if j is less than size minus 1, that is actually the calling from the I, and I is less than size minus 1, there is another integer, that is integer k. And after that, to check the if the current token X or O has won the game, there is a boolean function that is check win. It has also two types of variable, that is character board, integer size, and character token. Actually check all rows and all columns of the board, that is actually the which actually win, or it's a draw, or it should be continue. And check main diagonal, top, left to bottom and right. And second, also it's check the secondary diagonal. And finally there is another function, boolean function, that is check if the board is completely filled. Actually it shows the draw condition by checking the loops. And after that there is our main function. It has constant integer size 3, because the board is actually 3 by 3, and we have to dynamically allocate a 2D arrow for the game board, that is character board, new character, size, integer I, actually depend less than the size, and it increasing 1 by 1. And now we make a call for the void function, initialize board, board and size, current player X actually starts, and main game loop while. When the game is not over, display board and size, integer row and column, the player row and column through the 1 1 1 2 1 3 like this, and convert it to the zero index value, that row and column, and validate the move through this if statement. If there is an invalid move, it will shows a message that invalid move, please try again, cell is already occupied, try another move. And if the current player has won, it will shows current player wins. and the game is over. And check if the board is full, resulting in a draw. It will show it's a draw, and also the game is actually over. And else switch the player if current is X and change to O, and vice versa. And again we have to delete the dynamic allocated memory, so that we use delete. Now I'm going to run this program. And it's a player X turn, and I have to input a value. So I input 1 1 1 as my first turn, and player O actually use the same thing, and 1 2. Now player X again, 2 and 1, 3 2 and 2, and finally the X enters the value 1 and 3. The O input 3 and 2. So player O wins, and that's my final task for homework 4.